If it isn't for humans to dig and shovel, sometimes nature spontaneously decides to create another hole. There are a surprising number of holes on the face of the earth, more than we'd feel comfortable with. From the gates of hell that have been burning for 40 years, to the mystery surrounding Chan Bowery, and the 6-year-old boy who was eaten alive by a sand dune. Today, we're looking at 10 of the most dangerous holes on the earth. Number 10. Kola Super Deep Borehole. It would take a person approximately 4 minutes before they reach the end of the Kola Super Deep Borehole if they were to ever fall into it. That's 4 minutes of knowing you're falling down one of the largest holes in the world. You might even see it go by twice or thrice. The Kola Super Deep Borehole is the result of a scientific drilling experiment in Petsjenski district near Russian border with Norway. Drilling began at the site in May of 1970, and it wasn't until 2 decades later, in 1992, that they officially stopped. The hole was then sealed off for safety concerns, and understandably so. By the time the drilling had stopped, scientists recorded temperatures above 180 degrees from the deepest parts of the hole. The Kola Super Deep Borehole is 40,230 feet deep. That's more than the height of Mount Everest. This video shows the Kola Super Deep Borehole as it was when it was sealed in 1992. Now, you might be thinking, what good did drilling this hole do? Scientists were able to discover chemical properties of various solids, liquids, and gases, as well as discover several microscopic plankton fossils. The hole is close to 9 miles in depth. But is that really all that surprising, considering that it's literally named super deep? Number 9. Berkeley Pit. How much would you pay to visit one of the world's largest naturally occurring holes? Tourists only have to spend a $2 admission fee to be able to view the Berkeley Pit in all of its glory. This 1,780 feet deep hole used to be the site of an open pit copper mine. The mine was operational from 1955 to 1982. Once it closed, water pumps in the surrounding regions were closed off and groundwater began to seep up into the hole. Today, the Berkeley Pit is known for not only being one of the largest holes in the world, but also for being one of the most dangerous ones. The water that found its way into the hole reached to about 900 feet, and because of heavy metals, oxygen, and other chemical reactions, it is highly acidic. It can literally dissolve your skin. The water in Berkeley Pit has an acidity of 2.5 pH. That's the same acidity as gastric acid found in your stomach. It's almost poetic, really. Someone falling down Berkeley Pit probably has the POV of food going down your throat and into your stomach.
Before we move on, we've got a speed challenge for you. If you subscribe to Facts Junkie and hit the bell icon in the next 5 seconds, you'll win 10 years of incredible luck. Give it a shot. It actually works.
Number 8. Darvaza Gas Crater, the gates to hell. Here's something you might find interesting about the 226 feet deep cavern in Turkmenistan. No one has any idea where it came from. Even if it was due to naturally occurring reasons, flash floods or earthquakes, no one has any concrete information on how the gas crater came into existence. Oh, and another interesting fact about it. It's been burning for nearly 40 years. Darvaza literally translates to gates in the Turkmen language. It wasn't long before people began to refer to the fiery, constantly burning pit as the gates to hell. What do we know about Darvaza? Firstly, it's in all likelihood it's the result of a natural gas reservoir that was breached when scientists began drilling in the area. The reservoir was breached and a cavern was formed. Methane reacts with oxygen and releases heat energy worth 891 kilojoules. This video shows people venturing into said gates to hell in an effort to collect extremophile microorganisms from the center of the pits. Not only can we never comprehend the amount of bravery it takes, we also commend the dedication to science. Number 7. The Devil's Sinkhole. If it's named the Devil's Sinkhole, you might think people would steer clear from it. You'd actually be wrong, because the hole is located in Edwards County in Texas, is open to the public, and even offers wheelchair access. There is even a gift shop not too far away to commemorate your trip to this aptly named hole in the earth. There's actually still more. The Devil's Sinkhole is also home to one of the world's largest vertical bat habitats. One of the main attractions of this site is the Evening Bat Flight Tour. Sounds interesting to say the least. There's a 50-foot wide opening at the surface that reveals a 350-foot deep cavern inside of it. It was first discovered in 1876 and officially became open to the public in 1992. While it might be a tourist attraction, it is also important to understand that the Devil's Sinkhole wasn't named without reasons. The government has expressed concern over avid adventurers trying to sneak their way into the sites. Number 6. Giant Blue Hole. Next on our list, we have a hole called the Giant Blue Hole, and that's literally all there is to it. It's a giant blue-colored hole. The Giant Blue Hole is a marine sinkhole that's approximately 407 feet deep. What makes the Giant Blue Hole dangerous is the gross underestimation of it as a dangerous sinkhole. It's the same as everyone admiring a lion. The animal is one of the most beautiful creatures in the world, but it's also a ferocious carnivore. The gross misrepresentation of the Giant Blue Hole as nothing more than a tourist site is what leads to adventurers trying risky and sometimes insane stunts here. This video shows a giant blue hole in its entirety. Is it beautiful? Yes. Is it also deathly? Also yes. Number 5. Chand Baori. Located in the Indian state of Rajasthan, Chand Baori is a 3,500 stepped step wall. This site has its origins all over the place, from the Mughals to ghosts. The latter seems more interesting. Locals in the region believe that ghosts built that steep well overnight. This might possibly be because the step wall was constructed in the shortest time span possible. Truthfully, all we really know about its construction is that it might have begun sometime in the 9th century. The site is popular as a filming location, tourist attraction, and just scenic overall. However, local governmental bodies are apprehensive of giving the general public admission to the site because of the large number of casualties. Some of these were fatal accidents, and some were suspected cases of suicide. This video shows the Chand Baori in all of its glory. A scenic spot, but laden with death surrounding it. Number 4. Glory Hole Spillway. Next up, we have the Glory Hole Spillway, and whatever you're thinking, don't. The Glory Hole Spillway is a naturally occurring spillway in the Monticello Dam in the United States. It measures at an impressive 72 feet deep with a 28-foot narrowed down exit. You'd expect a spillway to seep up with water every time the water tables of the lake rises. However, flash floods have contributed to the Glory Hole Spillway rising 35 points above the water table. That's more than what the predicted value for it was, which is obviously concerning. Factor in climate change and we might have our hands at a real issue here. Again, one of the scariest things about the Glory Hole Spillway is the gross underestimation of just how deadly it actually is. The only reported death because of this hole occurred in 1997, when Emily Schwallen died after being caught in a current. She was swimming near the spillway and was carried away into the pipe. Schwallen managed to hold onto the rim for 20 minutes before ultimately being carried off to her demise. Number 3. Guatemala City Sinkhole. Sinkholes are more common than most people realize. Sinkholes aren't unfortunately all that uncommon. However, no one could have anticipated a 300-foot deep sinkhole to form all of a sudden in Guatemala City. The sinkhole appeared in the capital in 2010, similar to a 2007 sinkhole in the same city. What does that tell you? It revealed to geologists and other experts that Guatemala City was prone to more sinkholes. This was probably because of natural phenomena such as volcanic eruptions and flooding. However, no one anticipated the 2010 sinkhole to be as deep as it was. The sinkhole took down a 3-story house that was being used as a factory down with it. Here's where it gets eerie. A security guard was reportedly the only fatality caused by the sinkhole, but no one has ever confirmed his death. It's likely, but no one really ever talked about it. Today, the sinkhole is still there because filling the hole with cement will increase the likelihood of other sinkholes. It's filled with gravel and other particles instead. Number 2. Mount Baldy Sinkhole. Sometimes, in spite of your best efforts, tragedy will strike. This was the case in 2014 when a 6-year-old boy was eaten alive by a sand dune in Mount Baldy Park. The Wandering Dune used to be a popular tourist spot up until the earlier half of the 2010s, when it became increasingly populated, and scientists were afraid it had caused casualties. They closed the park and replanted the grass, hoping that nothing would go wrong. However, in spite of their efforts, a 6-year-old boy fell in the 123-foot deep dune. It took a harrowing 3 hours for search and rescue teams to locate the boy who was otherwise fine, but admittedly shaken up over the incidents. We can only hope that the sinkholes and the unpredictability of it leads to better safety regulations. Number 1. Bingham Canyon Mine. And last, but obviously not any less scary and dangerous than the others, we have the Bingham Canyon Mine, also known as the Kennecott Copper Mine. This large hole in the earth measures at an impressive 3,969 feet deep. A major landslide occurred in April of 2013, followed by another in September. Although no casualties were reported, the two avalanches held the capacity to run over an entire village. Close call. Alright, comment down below which of these holes freaked you out the most. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Facts Junkie, and we'll see you in the next one.